Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. Today is January 19, 2017 at 1:07 a.m. And let's just say it's 2, which is not. So 34 hours and 53 minutes, Trump will be president of the United States. He'll be sworn in on the 20th at noon, and it should take no more than 10 minutes tops for the swearing in. But let me tell you the title of this story. It's Why the World Has Gone Crazy. Why so much uprising? Well, you know what? I've got the answer, and I've got the real answer. And why the timing also of the second UN 70 nation meeting. I've got that figured out. I know exactly why a second meeting had to take place. It all makes very clear sense when you think about it. They thought, now keep in mind, no one expected Trump. No one. So they laid everything out that Hillary is going to be there. So she would be the one to automatically do these things that had already been pre-planned. She wouldn't have done anything except I do or I will, and then it would have gone into motion. Everything that was lined up. And guys, it was disastrous for our country. Completely disastrous for America. So it makes sense that Hillary would have been elected, and she wasn't. The UN and Middle East, again, the socialist entitlement had to regroup to try and delay or hurt Trump in hopes that somehow he would fail. The entitlement socialists are going to lose the money that Obama gave them to be socialists. He bought them. He brainwashed these people to become socialists. Bernie Sanders will sit there and tell you just that. He told these people when he had his rally the other day, Bernie Sanders is screaming to a crowd of mad-ass people who were entitlement bunch of group of people that you see down here, and told them all, look, y'all won't get any more money after April the 15th. I got news for you, Bernie. That's going to change before January is over. So it is entitlement that came through the socialist agenda that everybody is in an uproar about. They think they're losing because they have been getting money for no work. That's changing. Bible says man doesn't work, then a man won't eat. Clearly, the UN and the Pope and the Illuminati and the Antichrist and the whole Middle East all hit a stone wall. And they could not move beyond it. And why? Ask God. He is one who placed Trump in the highest office, and no man, no one, no power, no world disruption will take place until God is ready. And you know what? He is not ready. Trump will be president on time. And that is, in a nutshell, the entitlement series and a globalist agenda for our country. All who attacks Trump attacks God. And I want to be very careful when I say this, because again, I don't want to tell you something that is not true. So this is not my guess. This is a fact. And I say this to the American socialist. Doubt me, then prove me wrong. Do something, prove me wrong. You can't do it. You attack God, and that will only hurt those who stand to lose the entitlements. They're the ones that's barking the loudest. Stopped America's final crash through the Talmuds, stopped all America's enemies in their tracks. So that's over. I'm shocked at how many people, and I mean, that have been truly brainwashed over these 8 years by Obama. The uneducated were the first ones. That included, get this, Hollywood and the bums that would not work. They sit on their butt all day, day in, day out. They'll sleep 12 hours, and then 12 hours they'll booze it up, drink it up, and go kill a few people, and then go back home and go to bed. It's a routine. It's a cycle that goes over and over and over. It doesn't end. That's their life. Now, with Trump, they will have jobs. And if they don't work, then they'll get up and work when they get hungry. I'm shocked that, let me move on from there. No, I don't want to move on. I'm shocked that so many people are like I said, have been brainwashed. The uneducated were the first. But I got something to say about Hollywood in a moment. But after all this that's going on, after all these people are upriled and doing all these, I don't know how many doggone riots they're having and marches across this country. Look, I just named the entire agenda that Satan had, or the Antichrist had, and it failed. Satan's agenda for America failed. And it took everyone from the Pope to the UN and the 70 nations. It threw them back in their seat. And they knew what hit them. They weren't foolish. They knew what hit them. Now, a reminder of the number 7 and 70. Trump again will be sworn in January 20th, 2017. He will be 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old. To add that, we are in the Daniel 70th week. The sons of El, 70. This is the 70 nations that met in the United Nations. And what are the odds? Well, the odds are you winning 70 straight Powerballs in a row. Odds are greater for that than it is for these prophecies to come true. Let me see what time I have. Wow, I done ate up some minutes. All right, the number 70 in the Bible. I've already been there and I went to something else. But 70 has a sacred meaning in the Bible. It represents perfection. And by tens, representing completeness of God's law. And if you go on down the line, you have 70 elders were appointed by Moses after reading the covenant God gave for him to read to the people. Moses took that 70 along with Aaron and his sons up to Mount Sinai to have a special meal with God himself. Exodus 24, 9 through 11. Ancient Israel spent a total of 70 years in captivity in Babylon. And then 70 is also specifically connected with Jerusalem. The city kept 70 years of Sabbath, while Judah was in Babylon in captivity. 77, 490 years, was the determined time. And then after that time, he'd make a resolution, a pact with them that would be over. In the appearance of the number 70, Abraham had his first child, or Terah, the father of Abraham, had his first child, his oldest child, at age 70. Canaan, the fourth biblical patriarch mentioned in Scripture, had his first son at age 70. Pharaoh, when Jacob was migrating his entire household into the land, a total of 70 Israelites started a nation within another nation that would grow to be over 2 million. This is how many were in the Exodus. And then you can go back to the number 8. And the number of 8 has the same type of meanings. The 50th day from the spring harvest is Pentecost. And the day is also the 8th day of the 7th week. The 8th and the 50th. What does that mean to us? Trump will be the 45th person who was or who will be the president of the United States, but he will hold the 58th slot as president of the United States. There are so many prophecies that completely surrounds Donald Trump, and it goes back to Abraham, and it all points, and surprisingly, it didn't point to a Jew. It pointed to Trump. Trump was the man that God selected back then, even before, to undo this huge spider web and this nest that's been destroying our country. God is using Donald Trump because you see the kind of man he is. You hear what he says. He's not retracted on anything. He doesn't back down. God needs that today. And he needs a strong man who will do it today. And you know what? As I said before, I believe God went through many kinds of people trying to see who would carry the law in his word, and it came down to being the Jews. God may have tried 1,000 other races. We don't know. But the Jews were the ones he chose. And the Jews are the ones that he punishes the most because he expects the most out of them. And when they fall short, they're punished. 490 years, that was a punishment. But then God did tell them, told Abraham, you stand right here and you look. As far as your eye can see, you turn a circle, that's yours. I'm giving it to you and your sons. That is what Trump is going to be doing for Israel, making sure that that land is not divided in any way, what's left, because in the end, all that land was come back to the Jews, every bit of it. And believe me, it's the entire Middle East almost. We just have to stand firm, not listen to the negativity, not listen to the lies. You're going to see so many people. I already read, and I hate to say it, but this 12, he's 14 now, a little boy read that foretells the death of Donald Trump. Well, he may have seen that Donald Trump may die at 12 years from now or 20 years from now, but he won't see Trump die before 8 years from now. I promise you that. God gave us Trump, and he gave us Trump for 2 terms for us. And for that 2 terms, this country is going to rise to a power then greater than all other countries on earth. Prosperity, he talked about every person and Kuwait are filthy rich. Even the lowest of them is filthy rich. He said, but yet we're paying an additional 30% on the oil that comes out of there. When we buy so much, we should be getting that 30% break. He said, everyone in our nation can be above water if you listen to what he's telling us, listen to what he's doing for us, because he's not lying, people. He wants everyone to be where they want to be. I want a new car, okay? I've got a 2008 Expedition. I don't put 7,000 miles a year on it. And got an 02 Harley Heritage. I put less than that on it. But I want a new car and a new bike. And you know, I'm going to have them in 2 years. That's my goal. In 2 years, I'm going to have them. And when I buy things, I pay for them. I don't do it over time. You do the same thing. You go to prayer about that. You go to prayer and say, God, I want to remind you what you said in your prophecy about Donald Trump, about our country prospering, about our country getting back sevenfold of what not only was taken from us, but what we have used to settle disputes and to help other countries around the world. That will come back, not by these countries. God won't punish a country that can't afford to pay us, but those who can, they're going to pay. Guys, get ready. Get ready for a monetary blessing. For some of us, it's going to be a dinar. But even without that, we're still going to prosper. You claim your part. Claim your part. And it's yours. We are headed into a time that your life is going to be better than it's been, unless, again, you're already been a millionaire. But let me tell you one last thing, and I wanted to hold this to the end. Look, Hollywood. Let me tell you what, and you tell me if I'm wrong. How many of them, they may have held restaurant jobs or worked at service stations growing up, but now they're millionaires, multi-millionaires. All they do is make movies and go to red carpet events. Do you see any of them out trying to better East LA and East Hollywood area? Go to East Hollywood and look at it. It's a friggin' dump. I've been there 4 times. My sister-in-law lives in San Diego. I've been there 4 times. I leave there, I go to Hollywood. I go to Beverly Hills. I take pictures. And when you go under that bridge and you enter East LA, you've entered a different world. Hollywood. All their money's locked up on the west side of Hollywood. They don't give a hoot about the east side. I just wanted to throw that in. I had to. I'm not downing them because my wife personally would cut the first Charlie Angel's hair, Kate Jackson, because she grew up in Mountain Brook, the same city that I was a policeman in. And my wife owned a beauty shop. She cut Kate Jackson's hair and her mother's hair. And she still cut her mother's hair until she passed away. And she also cut Cox's hair. The Cox on Friends, her parents have the Cox Poo Company here in Birmingham. And my wife cut her hair as she was a little girl growing up. My wife introduced me to Kate Jackson. I never got introduced to Cox, but didn't matter. God, I knew everybody. And 48% of Americans are multi-billionaires or Jewish. And if you just learn to be humble and learn to know what God's word says, You won't be Jewish, but you can be better off than you are. Stand by Trump and let that rub off on you and see if your numbers won't go up much quicker than you can imagine. Jody Wolf Expoz.